Dugubo's emotions restrained. His face returned to its usual cold and hard look. He glanced at Tang San and asked lightly, What herbs did you eat here that you are not even afraid of my jade phosphor serpent emperor poison? Tang San didn't hide anything and replied, After you brought me here yesterday, I thought it over and decided to take the 8-petal ice crystal grass and the fiery apricot delicate. 8-petal ice crystal grass, fiery apricot delicate? What are those? Dugubo had never even heard of these names before. Tang San nodded. They are 2 poisonous herbs that grow by absorbing the extreme yin and yang essences respectively, positioned at the center of the ice spring and fire spring. Upon hearing this, Dugubo had some impression. Are you talking about those 2 herbs that emit extreme cold and heat? Are they even edible? Due to the unique nature of the 8-petal ice crystal grass and fiery apricot delicate, Dugubo remembered them very clearly. In the entire ice and fire yin-yang well, there was only one of each. He had tried before, but even with his soul power, he couldn't stay near any of the poisonous herbs for too long. Dugubo knew that these 2 herbs contained top-level yin poison and fire poison, extremely tyrannical. Because he was unclear about their medicinal properties, he never dared to make a rash move. Since there was only one of each of the 8-petal ice crystal grass and fiery apricot delicate, Tang San naturally wasn't afraid of Dugubo knowing, yes, these 2 herbs are both extremely poisonous. Ordinary people would be frozen or incinerated within a quarter of an hour if they came within 10 meters of them, let alone eating them. However, the so-called principle of yin and yang counteracting each other and ice and fire neutralizing each other means that when these 2 extreme herbs are placed together, they neutralize each other, significantly reducing their toxicity. That was the only chance to consume them. After consumption, the 2 toxins of ice and fire will change from mutual repulsion to mutual complementarity, thus transforming the body. Using some special methods to absorb them can achieve the effect of being immune to both water and fire. A true immunity to water and fire. Dugubo's gaze on Tang San flickered, his heart slightly hesitant. Although he didn't know that the 8-petal ice crystal grass and fiery apricot delicate could be consumed in this way, he was aware of their potent properties and naturally understood that Tang San had not fully absorbed their medicinal properties. If he drank Tang San's blood, perhaps. However, Tang San mentioned that these herbs required special methods to absorb, which he didn't know. Thinking of this, Dugubo tentatively asked, Is it because of these herbs that you can neutralize my 3 types of poisons? Tang San smiled calmly, You could say that. Old monster, it was only after you brought me here that I realized why the toxins in your body haven't backfired and killed you. It's precisely because of the ice and fire yin-yang well. The extreme yin spring and the blazing yang spring strongly counteract any poison, and the water in the springs is immune to all toxins. For ordinary people, the environment here is unbearable, not even strong soul beasts can endure it. But for you, this place is beneficial without any harm. It is the aura of the ice and fire yin-yang well that suppresses the toxins in your body. Training here, although it can't completely remove your toxins, can at least guarantee you live to 100 years without issue. However, Dugubo couldn't help but ask, however what? Tang San sighed lightly. The reason I took the fiery apricot delicate and the 8-petal ice crystal grass was also to survive in this place. These 2 herbs together form a miniature ice and fire yin-yang well, though their antitoxin effect is not as terrifying. I have come up with 2 methods to detoxify you. One of them is to take these 2 herbs together and use your powerful soul power to absorb their medicinal properties. In that case, I am at least 80% confident that I can dissolve the toxins in your body. Dugubo's eyes gradually turned cold. But you ate them. Tang San smiled. Old monster, listen to me first. Since he dared to tell Dugubo this without fear, he naturally had a reason. The 8-petal ice crystal grass and fiery apricot delicate are both considered celestial herbs. Although they are extremely poisonous, their celestial rating is unquestionable. Yes, they can neutralize the poisons in your body, but at the same time, your toxic cultivation will also be neutralized. Do you want that? Dugubo was stunned. He had initially planned to act again, but hesitated after hearing Tang San's words. Tang San looked at the wavering Dugubo. If you don't believe me, I can extract some blood containing the properties of these two herbs for you to test. However, don't blame me if your cultivation decreases. No need to test, you little monster, Dugubo said hatefully. How do you know so much? Tang San calmly replied. When I was young, I obtained a book that recorded many rare and strange things. The knowledge comes from that book. You mentioned 2 methods to detoxify me earlier. What's the other one? Dugubo asked. Tang San said, this second method, I am 60% confident it will work without harming your own strength. For your granddaughter, I am 100% confident of success. The method isn't complicated. The reason you are suffering from toxin backlash is due to your toxic cultivation. If you had a tool martial soul, it would be easy. Just concentrate the toxins into your martial soul, and the problem would be solved. But since you use a beast martial soul, the toxins merge with your body. Although your soul power can mobilize and suppress them, they have become part of you, causing great damage to your body. To retain your toxins without them harming you, you need a host to store the toxins. I assume you have a soul bone, right? Dugubo, a poison expert himself, immediately understood and his eyes lit up. Are you saying I should force the toxins into my soul bone so they won't harm me? Tang San nodded. That's correct. Your granddaughter can do the same. Find a suitable soul bone for her, and during toxic cultivation, force the toxins into the soul bone. Then, there will be no problems. Like me, although I have toxins in my body, they are stored in my blue silvergrass and external spirit bone 8 spider lances, so they don't harm me. Dugubo frowned. I have cultivated the jade phosphor serpent martial soul for over 70 years. My body is completely fused with the toxins. Forcing them out is difficult and might cause severe backlash. Are you teaching me how to commit suicide? Tang San said calmly. This is the only viable method. Of course, you don't directly use soul power to force the toxins out. That would cause severe backlash, as you said. You must use specific medicines to gradually filter the toxins from your meridians and bones into the soul bone. This will be a long process, not something that can be done in a day or 2. After all, you are essentially a poison person now. That's why I said I am 60% confident. Even if I can't fully transfer all the toxins to the soul bone, I can at least greatly reduce your current suffering. Are you willing to try? Dugubo looked at Tang San, his eyes shimmering. Little monster, I've tried to kill you multiple times, and you still want to help me detoxify? Aren't you afraid I'll kill you after I'm cured? Tang San knew that Dugubo had already believed him, so he said calmly, whether you believe it or not, I never shun poison. In fact, I like it. A poison person like you is probably unique on the entire continent. Treating you is also an experiment for me. As for whether you'll kill me afterward, I can't guarantee, but I can tell you clearly that if you kill me, your granddaughter will die too. I can treat you here, but when treating your granddaughter, I want my teacher to be present. Once she's cured, we'll have no more dealings. What do you think? Dugubo thought for a moment. All right, little monster. There aren't many people I admire. You're one of them. I believe you. Let's do as you say. I, Dugubo, always keep my word. If you cure me and my granddaughter, I will fulfill my 3 promises to you and won't kill you. But now, take this first. My old life may not be worth much, but I want to live a few more years. If you kill me, you'll accompany me in death. As he spoke, Dugubo opened his mouth, and a green light emerged, forming a jade-green bead. Under Dugubo's control, the green bead floated slowly toward Tang San. Tang San opened his right hand and let it fall into his palm. He didn't know what it was, but he clearly remembered Dugu Bo spitting out this bead when breaking Saint Dragon true form. Tang Sen smiled bitterly. It seems a bit disgusting to eat something you spit out. Dugu Bo gave Tang San a cold glance. I won't hide it from you. This is a pearl formed from my jade phosphorus snake's evolution into a snake king. Half of my power resides in this pearl. If I die, it will explode inside you. Not only you but even a titled Dolua wouldn't survive such an internal explosion. You're a cunning little monster, so I have to be cautious. Tang San swallowed the pearl without hesitation, feeling a warm current flow down his throat, settling in his dantian, with a comforting warmth spreading through his body. Dugu Bo remarked indifferently, You feel it, don't you? As long as you don't try anything funny, the pearl will benefit your cultivation, enhancing your soul power. Once you cure me, I'll retrieve it. Old monster, I have a condition as well. Tang San knew Dugu Bo wasn't lying about this. He didn't push further, realizing he wasn't in immediate danger. From Dugu Bo's concern for Dugu Yen, it was clear that as long as Tang San could threaten Dugu Yan's poison, Dugu Bo wouldn't kill him. Dugu Bo raised an amused eyebrow. You're the only one in decades daring to negotiate terms with me. Even the Emperor of the Heaven Do Empire shows me respect. Tang San smiled. So, I'm enjoying an emperor's treatment now? My condition is simple. While I'm preparing the medicine, you can't spy on me. This place will be my workshop. Just bring me food and water daily. Come to take your medicine at high sure every evening, 1 hour before your symptoms flare up. I don't know how long it'll take to cure you, but at least half a year. Dugu Bo nodded, understanding Tang San's fear of being killed once he learned the detoxification method. For this meticulous young man, Dugu Bo couldn't decide whether to hate him or admire him more. Tang San, would you like to become my disciple? Any ordinary soul master would be ecstatic and immediately kneel to accept such an offer. But Tang San merely glanced at Dugu Bo. Old monster, that title suits you. I don't intend to change it. Besides, what could you teach me about poison? You might need to ask me for advice instead. Fine, little monster, we'll see. Dugu Bo suppressed his anger and flew away. Once Dugu Bo left, Tang San collapsed, exhausted and drenched in cold sweat. He had played his cards well, but there was no guarantee of safety if the old monster went mad. Looking around at the lush, rare herbs, Tang San smiled slightly. Dugu Bo, I should thank you. There's no better place than this. He retrieved the 9-segment jadeite snake from his clothes and threw it into the ice and fire yin-yang well. The snake had drunk his blood and would die without the well's help, its poison notwithstanding. Tang San's ability to hide in the well was a secret he wouldn't reveal to Dugu Bo. Touching his abdomen, Tang San smiled wryly. He had no way to counter the pearl. Removing it was impossible, and any tampering would alert Dugu Bo. Looking at the surrounding herbs, he sighed. Every one of these immortal-grade plants was precious, but overuse would be detrimental. He decided to focus on absorbing the octagonal mysterious ice grass and the infernal delicate apricot's power first. At least 7 or 8 types of these herbs could significantly boost his power, potentially increasing his soul power by 5 levels or more. He couldn't eat them now, but he could collect them. With a smile, he spread out various boxes and containers of different materials: gold, silver, copper, iron, jade. These were prepared for storing different herbs, each with specific storage requirements to maintain their potency. Now wasn't the time to collect herbs, so he put the containers back and started carefully identifying the surrounding treasures. Mistakes were not an option, as confusing poisons with tonics could be fatal. That evening, when Dugu Bo returned with food and water, he was annoyed to find Tang San hadn't prepared any medicine. Tang San's excuse was that there were no materials. Dugu Bo had no choice but to bring him some specialized containers and a large bronze cauldron. In this place, fire wasn't needed. The boiling hot spring's temperature was more intense than any flame, capable of melting metal. Thus, Tang San began living in the ice and fire yin-yang well. When Dugu Bo wasn't around, he immersed himself in the spring to cultivate, speeding up the absorption of the herb's power. In the afternoons, he practiced medicine refining, becoming increasingly proficient over time. Although adept at poison-making, Tang San lacked skills in making tonics, a minor regret. It took 3 months to familiarize himself with the herbs around the well, experimenting with various poisons. The antidote for Dugu Bo was mainly muscle-soothing and blood-circulating agents, but each contained a drop of Tang San's blood. Dugu Bo had been tricked. His poisoning required the mysterious ice grass and infernal delicate apricot. Tang San served as a mediator, making the herb's effect gentler and safer. After a week of treatment, Dugu Bo's pain decreased, and he began channeling the poison into his soul bones. Surprisingly, he even showed signs of breaking through his 91st level bottleneck, stagnant for a decade. Excited by the improvement, Dugu Bo's attitude towards Tang San improved. He even discussed poison techniques with him. Despite Tang San's inherited skills from Tang sect, he learned a lot from Dugu Bo's extensive knowledge of this world's poisons. Dugu Bo, on the other hand, grew increasingly impressed with Tang San's vast knowledge, often feeling enlightened by the young man's insights. When Tang San initially refused Dugu Bo's offer to become his apprentice, Dugu Bo was quite angry. However, after some time, Dugu Bo realized that Tang San wasn't being arrogant. Despite having less experience in using poison, Tang San's knowledge was comparable to Dugu Bo's. Through mutual discussions, both gained significant insights into using poison. Their initial wariness of each other gradually faded. Of course, Dugu Bo's Dan bead was still in Tang San's dantian, and Tang San hadn't brought up the matter. The old and the young, like friends, repeated their similar daily routines. Amusingly, Dugu Bo, relying on his understanding of medicine, tried to concoct the antidote himself after taking the one Tang San gave him. Despite using the same ingredients, his antidote was ineffective. He didn't know that Tang San's antidote contained a crucial medicinal guide. In a flash, half a year had passed. During this time, Grandmaster and Flender visited twice. Seeing the genuine rapport between Tang San and Dugu Bo, and noting that Tang San remained safe, they were reassured. They only reminded Tang San to return to the new Shrek Academy after completing his training here. Though Dugu Bo was a titled Dolua, and Tang San could match him in poison knowledge, Dugu Bo's experience in martial spirit cultivation far surpassed Tang San's. Dugu Bo appreciated Tang San's help in detoxifying him and occasionally gave Tang San pointers, deepening his understanding of martial spirits. While Dugu Bo's broad knowledge was not on par with the Grandmaster's, his first-hand experience from the start to becoming a titled Dolua provided unique insights beneficial to Tang San. Moreover, the ice and fire yin-yang well constantly helped Tang San absorb the octagonal mysterious ice grass and inferno delicate apricot, transforming his body. Combined with the effect of Dugu Bo's Dan bead, Tang San's soul power advanced rapidly. He had jumped from level 34 to 37 in half a year, nearly catching up with Dai Mubai. Little monster, I'm here," Dugu Bo descended flamboyantly from the sky. "Iha." Dugu Bo looked towards Tang San's usual resting spot. Normally, Tang San would greet him at night, but today there was no sound. Did something happen to him? Alarmed, Dugu Bo swiftly moved over. Seeing Tang San sitting there, he relaxed a bit. Although he was reluctant to admit it, Dugu Bo no longer harbored any ill feelings towards Tang San, and even considered him a friend. Dugu Bo, naturally solitary and practicing a poison martial spirit, had no soul masters willing to interact with him. Even those who did were mostly out of fear. Despite Tang San calling him an old monster daily, their time together made Dugu Bo feel a special affection, like that of an elder to a junior, and sometimes like friends. Besides, he still needed Tang San's antidote for his poison. Tang San sat there, staring blankly ahead, in front of the medicinal cauldron. The cauldron was placed above the scalding yang spring, with the bottom slightly touching it, using the spring's heat. An ordinary cauldron would melt into copper water, but this one was coated with a special herb from the extreme Yin spring to resist the heat. Tang San himself wasn't afraid of the spring's heat, allowing him to control it. Curious, Dugubo squatted beside Tang San. Little monster, what are you doing? Tang San placed his index finger to his lips, signaling for silence, his eyes focused intently on the cauldron. Following Tang San's gaze, Dugubo saw faint purple smoke emanating from the cauldron's sealed lid. This was nothing new to him. Tang San often produced bizarre and admirable poisons, though he never shared the formulas, much to Dugubo's frustration. The purple smoke swirled above the cauldron, gently drifting. Dugubo, with his strong resistance to poison, was unafraid but noticed the smoke had no odor, making it impossible to determine its components. For some reason, the sight of the smoke gave him a chill. As a poison master, Dugubo knew this feeling signaled the presence of a lethal poison capable of threatening his life. What kind of poison was Tang San brewing that even made him feel threatened? Although Tang San had created many impressive poisons before, none had ever made Dugubo feel fear. Not wanting to disturb him, Dugubo sat beside Tang San, quietly waiting. Tang San's expression was unprecedentedly grave, eyes fixed on the cauldron and the rising smoke. Over time, the smoke thinned and changed color from purple to white, then black, undergoing a peculiar transformation. During this process, Tang San added herbs to the cauldron 3 times using his blue silvergrass. Even though his blue silvergrass was now impervious to water and fire, a strand withered each time. This only piqued Dugubo's curiosity further. He drank his tonic and quietly activated his poison skills to test the smoke. Despite his efforts, he couldn't identify the components of the toxic mist. Dugubo vaguely sensed it was a blend of multiple toxins working together. Could the boy be trying to poison me? Dugubo wondered, but quickly dismissed the thought. Their relationship had evolved into one of mutual respect and friendship, and Tang San wouldn't brew such a poison openly if he intended harm. The process was lengthy. By dawn the next day, when Dugubo was growing impatient, the black smoke finally subsided, slowly retracting into the cauldron. A success. Tang San leaped up, excitement evident in his voice, showing a rare moment of youthful exuberance. "A little monster, what is this?" Dugubo couldn't help but ask. Tang San exhaled and looked at Dugubo, mysteriously saying, This is a treasure. A deadly treasure. I guarantee even you wouldn't survive more than 3 breaths if hit by it. Of course, it poses no threat to you with your tough skin. I'll show you my masterpiece later." 10 strands of blue silver grass pulled the cauldron ashore. Tang San waited patiently for it to cool. Dugubo, eager to see, could only wait. After half an hour, when the cauldron had completely cooled, Tang San carefully removed the lid. Dugubo activated his poison skills to protect himself and peered into the cauldron. Inside was a small metal mold surrounded by dried residue, likely the remnants of the concoction. In the mold lay 3 1-inch-long, pitch-black needles. Is this what you spent so much time making?
Dugubo snefertit. Ken impressed.
What use is this? Tang San chuckled, using his mysterious jade hand to cautiously take out the mold. From the moonlit nightfall pavilion, he retrieved a prepared small jade box, placing the needles into its slots. These can kill a titled Dolua. Do you think they're useful? Tang San's eyes gleamed with a fervor reminiscent of when he crafted super hidden weapons back in the Tang sect. These can kill a titled Dolua? Are you joking? Dugubo was skeptical. These tiny things can't even break a titled Dolua's defense. What good is their poison? Tang San glanced at Dugubo. Do you know what a hidden weapon is? It's a weapon used in secret. Just because it can't break defenses head-on doesn't mean it can't at all. Moreover, using these needles requires my soul power to reach level 40. There's a special method to use them. They're called the Yama invitation. A Yama invitation? What's that? Dugu Bo was puzzled. Tang San gazed at the 3 needles in the jade box, his eyes filled with reverence, as if looking at a rare treasure. Iyama refers to the god of death. It's an ancient term. If the god of death sends you an invitation, it's to claim your life. When Yama calls for you at midnight, who dares keep you till dawn?